In a tale of love, betrayal, and devastating loss, Kaitlin Palmieri's world was shattered in a way no one could have ever imagined. On what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, tragedy struck, turning joy into unimaginable heartbreak. But what began as a tragic story of a bride losing her groom on their wedding day quickly spiraled into something far darker. A revelation that left Kaitlin questioning everything she thought she knew about the man she loved. This is the shocking story of how a wedding day ended in death, deceit, and a double life exposed. Kaitlin Palmieri's journey toward what she believed would be her happily ever after began like many modern love stories, through a dating app. In late 2018, she matched with Eric, a 33-year-old financial consultant who lived in New York City. From their very first date, Kaitlin felt an instant connection. Eric was charming, attentive, and seemed genuinely interested in building a life together. Over the following months, their relationship blossomed. Eric often surprised Kaitlin with thoughtful gestures, flowers on random days, handwritten notes, and weekend getaways. Friends of the couple described their relationship as one filled with romance and mutual respect. Kaitlin often posted about Eric on social media, referring to him as her soulmate. By late 2019, Kaitlin felt certain that Eric was the one. During a romantic holiday trip to Vermont in December, Eric proposed to Kaitlin in front of a picturesque, snowy landscape. Overwhelmed with emotion, she accepted, and the couple immediately began planning their wedding for the following summer. However, as the months went by, Kaitlin began noticing subtle changes in Eric's behavior. He frequently stayed late at work and often seemed preoccupied during their time together. When she voiced her concerns, Eric assured her that he was simply under pressure at his job and that things would return to normal after the wedding. Trusting him completely, Kaitlin brushed aside her doubts, unaware that these were early warning signs of a far deeper deception. The morning of August 8, 2020, started like any other wedding day, with a mixture of excitement, nerves, and last-minute preparations. Kaitlin and her bridesmaids gathered in the bridal suite of a local hotel, getting ready for the ceremony that was scheduled to take place later that afternoon. Meanwhile, Eric was staying in a separate suite with his groomsmen. According to one of the groomsmen, Eric seemed slightly anxious that morning, but no one thought much of it. Around mid-morning, Eric complained of feeling lightheaded and excused himself to lie down. Shortly after, one of the groomsmen found Eric unconscious on the floor of his suite. Paramedics were called immediately, but despite their efforts, Eric was pronounced dead at the scene. The cause was determined to be a sudden heart attack. Kaitlin was informed of Eric's death just hours before she was supposed to walk down the aisle. The news hit her like a freight train. One moment, she was a bride preparing for the most joyous day of her life, and the next, she was a grieving fiancé, trying to make sense of an unimaginable loss. In the days that followed, Kaitlin found herself surrounded by friends and family who tried to console her. Despite their support, nothing could alleviate the overwhelming grief she felt. The man she loved, the future she had envisioned, and the life they were about to start together had all been ripped away in an instant. A week after Eric's death, as Kaitlin tried to process her grief, she came across an Instagram tribute dedicated to Eric. The post was made by a woman she didn't recognize, expressing deep sorrow over Eric's passing and referring to him as her love. Confused and alarmed, Kaitlin decided to investigate further. Upon contacting the woman, Kaitlin discovered the unthinkable. Eric had been in a long-term relationship with this woman at the same time he was engaged to Kaitlin. The woman had no idea that Eric was engaged to be married, and Kaitlin was equally unaware of Eric's other life. Further digging revealed that Eric had been leading a double life for years. He had met the other woman around the same time he began dating Kaitlin, and he had maintained relationships with both women without either of them knowing. Eric had fabricated elaborate stories to keep his double life hidden, including fake business trips and late work hours. The revelation of Eric's double life plunged Kaitlin into a new wave of emotional turmoil. On top of the grief of losing her fiancé, she now had to deal with the betrayal of discovering that the man she loved had been living a lie. Friends described Kaitlin as being in a state of shock, unable to comprehend how Eric had managed to deceive her so thoroughly. In an interview with a local news outlet, Kaitlin said, "It felt like losing him twice, first to death and then to the betrayal. I thought I knew him, but it turns out I didn't know him at all." Despite the heartbreak, Kaitlin decided to share her story publicly, hoping to warn others about the dangers of trusting too easily. She appeared on several talk shows, recounting her experience and urging people to be more cautious in relationships. The story quickly gained traction, with many people expressing sympathy for Kaitlin, while others criticized Eric's actions. Social media was flooded with posts discussing the case, and debates ensued about whether Eric's double life should overshadow the tragedy of his death. Some commenters pointed out that Eric's actions were a form of emotional abuse, as he had manipulated both women and robbed them of the chance to make informed decisions about their lives. Others argued that Kaitlin should focus on healing rather than dwelling on the past. Despite the mixed reactions, Kaitlin received overwhelming support from friends, family, and strangers who commended her bravery for speaking out. Several women reached out to Kaitlin, sharing their own experiences of betrayal and deception in relationships. Psychologists who analyzed the case suggested that Eric's behavior might have been driven by a need for validation and control. By maintaining two separate relationships, he was able to fulfill different emotional needs without committing fully to either partner. Experts also noted the psychological toll such revelations can have on survivors like Kaitlin. The combination of grief and betrayal can lead to long-term emotional scars, including trust issues, anxiety, and depression. Kaitlin later revealed that she sought therapy to help her cope with the trauma, and she encouraged others in similar situations to do the same. Kaitlin Palmieri's story is a heartbreaking reminder that not all love stories have happy endings. What began as a fairy tale romance ended in tragedy and betrayal, leaving Kaitlin to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. Despite the pain, Kaitlin has emerged stronger, using her experience to inspire others and raise awareness about the dangers of deception in relationships. Her story continues to resonate with people around the world, serving as a cautionary tale about the hidden lives people can lead and the devastating impact of lies. In the world of true crime and human drama, few stories are as poignant and shocking as that of Kaitlin Palmieri, the bride who lost not only her groom, but also the illusion of the man she thought she knew. What are your thoughts on this shocking crime story? Comment below and subscribe for more content like this.